I'd agree with Peterson 100% if his interpretation of the left was accurate. I personally love capitalism.
Well, Anna Kasparian tried to take on Jordan Peterson for the Young Turks. Skip most of the video because it's really not all that interesting, but she does make some claims about capitalism about halfway through that I think are rather laughable and worth looking at. So without further ado, let's get this shit show on the road.
I'd agree with Peterson 100% if his interpretation of the left was accurate. While there may be some who think we should demolish our current system and demand equality of outcome, is certainly not representative of what most progressives want.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God, stop fucking lying.
Come on, Anna, you really think any of us will believe that? It's like been the progressives' great quest to push equality of outcome over all else. Who do you think you're fooling?
I personally love capitalism, but hate the corrupt crony capitalism that's practiced in America today.
Oh, I see. You're really just a libertarian who hates crony capitalism, right? Elizabeth Warren tried to pull this same crap. She's a capitalist to her bones. She just hates the corrupt system. So to fix it and bring back true capitalism, we need to install a host of socialist policies that will utterly destroy the market. Yeah.
A successful economy typically has a healthy mix of private companies and public programs.
Every economy has that because every country is, if it's not a theocracy or a dictatorship, it's pretty much a mixed economy. Good ones and bad ones. If you look at the more mixed an economy, like say France for instance, you see incredibly slow growth, really high unemployment, and just a general stagnation. What you actually want to see is an economy that's largely market-based, so it spurs innovation, creation, and growth. But we'll just say, healthy economies are mixed because all economies are mixed, so you can't really call me a liar on that.
For instance, there shouldn't be a profit motive behind criminalizing nonviolent behavior, which is what private prisons do. As a result, the US imprisons more people per capita than any country in the world.
Yeah, I'm sure it's private prisons are at fault for that, right? It's not the drug war or our incredibly high population. We have more people in our country than a lot of countries in the world, right? But I'm sure it's just private prisons driving all that criminality. It's like the purge. If we just got rid of private prisons, no one would commit crime.
Profits shouldn't take priority over medical treatment, which is what we have with private insurance companies.
Well, one, medical treatment and medical insurance are not the same thing. One of the reasons costs are so high is because insurance companies pay for everything. Imagine how expensive your auto insurance was if every time you had to fill up the tank, you had to get your insurance company to pay for it. Or every time you needed to change the oil, your insurance company had to pay for it. We like to conflate healthcare with health insurance so you can point at the numbers of uninsured and claim that there's that many people who don't get any healthcare at all when that's not the case. And two, do you even understand what profits are? Profits are a signal to a company that they're doing a good job. Losses are a signal that they're doing a bad job. If you're losing money, it means either you're unpopular, likely because your service sucks, or you're inefficient, you're wasting money. Without that profit motive, you just see bad care with high costs, all covered by the taxpayer. That is not a good way to create effective, efficient, and cheap services.
At the same time, I don't want the government manufacturing my clothing or any other materialistic thing I enjoy as a consumer.
Well, but you consume healthcare, and you consume education, and you consume all these things like a consumer. So I'm not really sure is the difference, it's materialistic? I'm not sure what line that is. The scalpel the doctor uses is materialistic, so should that be bought on the private market? I don't see the difference between healthcare, which is a commodity that you consume, and clothes, which is a commodity that you consume.
Let's leave that up to private companies. The left isn't pushing for equality of outcome, but it is pushing for equality of opportunities.
God, you're so full of shit.
There was a time in America when antitrust laws prevented massive corporate mergers and monopolies. Those very mergers that frequently happen today allow for corporations to shed jobs as they consolidate.
Which is a good thing. If they shed jobs, that means they're able to do the same thing with fewer people at lower costs. That means the companies become more efficient, thereby being able to offer their consumers a lower price. Now, there are workers displaced by this, but those workers are small in number compared to the amount of consumers who will be using that product. And we don't see a lot of out-of-work elevator operators anymore. People find new jobs, new technologies emerge, and people learn new skills. The idea that a company should keep someone on their salary when they're of no use at all to the company is a gigantic waste of money that will only lead to rising prices and a lower standard of living.
There was also a time when getting an education didn't mean digging yourself into a massive, inescapable financial hole.
All right, so high prison populations, expensive healthcare, and expensive education. Are you arguing against government control of these things? Because that's why they're so expensive. Student loans have given universities incentive to raise prices because the government will cover the cost. The reliance on insurance and its combination with government subsidies give hospitals and insurers every incentive to raise prices because they can make more money and the consumer will pay it or the government will pay it. You really understand you're arguing against your entire platform here. You just don't know enough about economics to understand that.
And even if you hit the genetic jackpot, come from a solid middle-class family, and work incredibly hard toward a successful career, it can all vanish in a heartbeat if you're injured from a horrible accident or become ill.
Again, because healthcare costs are so high, because the government has subsidized and cartelized it to the point where insurance companies can charge whatever they want and you have to pay them.
Wanting to find solutions to these issues doesn't make someone a murderous Marxist.
No, but if their solutions are Marxist, it does make them a Marxist. And given Marx's view on violent revolution and what the people who followed his ideology did to those who didn't disagree with him, that makes you murderous. Or a useful idiot who will be murdered. Either way.
I also don't believe it's anti-capitalist to demand that the richest Americans just pay their fair share of taxes.
It is. I mean, what do you define as your fair share? How much is a fair share, by the way? And you want me to buy that it's not anti-capitalist to literally implement one of the planks in the Communist Manifesto? What are you smoking? Are you out of your mind?
Why should the middle class pay a higher percentage than multi-billion-dollar corporations?
Because, Anna, many of the people in the middle class, as well as the lower class, are stockholders in those corporations, which means when they say retire and they take their money out of their IRA and they have to pay taxes on it, that money has already been taxed once through corporate taxes. So, Anna, why do you want retiring middle class and lower class elderly people to pay taxes twice?
While Peterson is clear in his objection to the equality of economic outcome, he's simultaneously supportive of equality of intimacy. Here, he's a strong supporter of monogamy, which is cool. I like monogamy. But his reasoning for supporting monogamy actually contradicts his ideology on economic issues. I just think you're dumb, okay? I think you're fucking dumb.
Oh my God, do you really think the people who watch you are this stupid? It's almost like sociology and economics are different things. It's almost the way people organize their social lives is different than the way the economy they live in is organized. I'm sorry, you're a socialist, so you actually see these things as inexorably merged and inseparable, but they aren't, and you're an idiot.
Okay, so just to make sure we're following Peterson's logic on monogamy, women, like money, tend to be a limited resource. It's dangerous for an attractive man to sleep with multiple women because he's essentially hoarding a limited resource, much like how the top 1% hoard the wealth in America.
First of all, money is not a finite resource. Money is printable. You can make as much as you want. Money stands in for a finite resource, and that resource is not always finite. You can grow the supply, you can grow the pie so that everyone gets a bigger slice. I know it's difficult for a socialist to understand because you are not a capitalist regardless of what you want to say. Beyond that, it's not bad to quote unquote hoard money, because the rich aren't hoarding money. What they're doing is A, investing it so they can make more money back, or B, they're giving it to banks, which then loan it out for investment to then again grow that pie that you don't think can grow.
Now, my caddy chauffeur informs me that a bank is a place where people put money that isn't properly invested.
I mean, I thought Ben Shapiro already explained this to Chang and you guys, but it must have gone over your heads.
It's also worth noting that this myth that spending is inherently better for an economy than saving, that's only true if you're talking about somebody who's actually taking the cash and just shoving it into their mattress. Banks are in the business of lending. When they take the money in, they don't just stick it in Al Gore's fake lockbox. They actually lend the money back out to people to actually create new businesses and new products.
On the other hand, it's not simply dangerous to hoard women. It's the consequences of quote-unquote hoarding women that is dangerous. It's the social alienation and the subsequent instability that drives that is dangerous. Your analysis is no more than skin deep and utterly absurd for the sake of conflating these two things and making them seem similar when they are worlds apart. Yeah, that was just a little clip from that video, but she displayed such stunning economic stupidity while making outrageous claims like progressives aren't opposed to equality of opportunity and that she is a capitalist. No. You can say that till your face turns blue, but no one with a brain is buying it, so you can just give it up. Be honest. We are the Republic's walls. They will have to come and take it.